Welcome. Today we head to Disney's Animal Kingdom theme park to set off in an open-air vehicle for a guided tour of the African savannah and spot live animals roaming free as we visit Kilimanjaro Safaris. We'll explore the Harambe Wildlife Reserve, home to 34 species, living in 110 acres of picturesque open plains, shady forest landscapes, and rocky wetlands. Our rugged safari vehicle is driven by an expert guide who helps point out animals and shares fascinating wildlife facts during this extraordinary 18-minute expedition.
And with that being said, it's time for our safari adventure to begin, so let's go, everybody! Welcome, one and all. My name is Sam, and I'm your safari guide through the Harambe Wildlife Reserve today. If you look right above your head, we have a safari guide to help you identify the many different animals that we'll see today. I can't guarantee we'll see them all, but I usually like to see a vast majority of them, so you're in good hands today, folks. Well, indeed. Right now we gotta wait a little bit because this truck in front of us is just entering the reserve, so our signal of when it's clear to enter is when that lantern on our right-hand side is fully lit. That is controlled by the warden, and once it's fully lit, that means we are clear to go. In the meantime, if you look on our reserve side, in case you're wondering which animal is outlined there, that is actually a sable antelope. Hopefully we'll get to see them today on our journey. We are now entering the Little Eternity Forest, and this is a watering hole region where animals will come for water, but some live here to use their natural colors for camouflage. A great example would be on our right-hand side. Those are the okapis right there. Now, by looking at that stripe pattern on their legs, you may think they're related to zebras, right? Well, actually, their closest living relative is the giraffe because they have the same skull structure as a giraffe, and they also have prehensile long tongues, which, like a giraffe, they will use to reach for food, and they will even use their own tongues to clean out their own eyes. Oh my God. Okapis are also very shy animals. They tend to be by themselves or in small groups like you see before you. To our right-hand side on the top of this hill, we have some greater kudus hiding in the bushes on top of the hill on our right. And those are females because female greater kudus do not have horns. Only males will have horns. They grow up to 6 feet tall down by the water, flapping their wings. That is actually a yellow saddle-billed stork. As the name applies, they get their name because of that yellow saddle-shaped crest on their beaks, and their wingspan's about 9 feet tall, and they actually don't vocalize like canaries or parrots. They actually communicate by making a rattling sound with their beaks. To our left-hand side by the hill, we actually have some bongos here, and bongos are nicknamed the ghosts of the forest because they are rarely seen, and they are the largest species of forest antelope in Africa, whereas the largest antelope in Africa is actually the New Zealand, actually. Now, bongos' horns are actually designed to be leaned backwards because that actually helps them move through thick underbrush without getting stuck. Very useful in case there are predators lurking. To our right-hand side, as we're going down the hill, we have the Safi River here, which you can see on your right-hand side, and a lot of the animals that live here will be in the water by the water's edge. These black vultures that are scattered around here are pretty common around here. They're like the scavengers of the wild. They'll eat what's left over and clean things up. And if you look to our both left and right hand side, we have some pink-backed pelicans, and the reason behind their name is because when it's mating season, the skin on their backs will start to turn pink. You're more than likely to find a total of 50 to about 200 nesting pairs within a flock, and their eggs will take about 30 days to incubate and hatch. That's about a month. And to our left-hand side, we have some hippos right in the water right now. And if you look closely at the two that are moving right now, you may notice that they're simply just walking. That is because hippos actually cannot swim.
Right there.
Hippos mostly just float above the water, or they sink to the bottom and walk on the riverbed floor. Hippos also like to stay submerged in water because they do not have sweat glands, so they need to stay as cool as possible so they don't overheat. The most likely time you'll see a hippo on land is at nighttime, where they'll go out to get some food. And also down below us, we have some Nile crocodiles on our left-hand side. And they are the largest species of crocodilians in Africa, reaching heights of about 16 feet tall and weighing 500 pounds each. And if you look closely down below, there are some with their mouths wide open. That actually has a purpose behind that. The reason why they have their mouths wide open is they do that to regulate their body temperature. They exhale excess body heat out, and that's their way of maintaining their body temperature. So they're simply not waiting for prey to walk into their mouths, although that would make life easier, but that's not the case. And there's a big key difference that tells crocodiles and alligators apart, folks, and that's by the shape of their heads. Alligators are shaped like the letter U, whereas crocodiles are shaped like the letter V. We're now going into the open savanna right now, and if you look to your right-hand side as I'm turning, we have a baobab tree. That's a good sign we're at the savanna because they're pretty common around here. And don't be fooled by its appearance. That tree is not dead. They just will remain leafless for about 9 months out of the whole year. And they do that in order to conserve water, since there's a limited amount of rainfall down here in the savanna. And in terms of producing leaves, baobab trees actually don't do it often because it takes up a lot of water and energy for them to produce leaves. But there is a benefit of not producing leaves and actually for them, and that actually extends their lifespan. In fact, baobab trees can live to be over thousands of years old. Right now, it looks like most of the animals have migrated to the other side, so we're going to have to travel up ahead to find them, but it's pretty beautiful out here.
Some more trucks.
The way the land is shaped and everything, it's almost painting-like, but we don't trim any plants here. The animals do that work for us, since they do eat the plants here as part of their diet. And personally, I think it's more beautiful than anything you find in a gardening catalog. To our left-hand side, we have some African wild dogs scattered across the land, both on the hillside and inside that cave, which I'm going to pull us up towards. Please remain seated. I cannot move until everyone's seated. I will make a stop for them. Don't worry, though. In fact, you can see them more clearly inside this cave. There's actually 2 of them resting together right now. Actually, they're just kind of bundled up together, actually.
In the cave.
African wild dogs like to sleep very close together, actually, like you see before you. And what makes them different from most other members of the canine family is that they actually communicate through chirps, not barks or howls, and they only have 4 toes on each paw. To our left, we have some sable antelope, and the sable antelope have 2 uses for their horns: to display dominance during courtship and to defend themselves against predators. And as I mentioned before, they're outlined on our reserve sign and our logo as well. In fact, they're actually the mascots of our reserve, actually. Both on our left and right-hand sides, we have some termite mounds, and these are the red-orange colored rock formations. And funny enough, they're not made out of rocks. They're actually made out of red clay, concrete. No, not concrete. I meant to say they're hard as concrete, and they're made out of red clay, saliva, and animal dung. That's what termites use to build their mounds. Almost had my words mixed up there.
Oh wow, look at that big buffalo.
Now, to our right-hand side up ahead, we're actually seeing a lot of animals scattered across the land. To our right-hand side, we actually have some Springboks. Those are the small cinnamon-colored animals, and Springboks are the third fastest land animals in the world, reaching a speed of 50 miles per hour. They can jump 6 feet in the air and spring forward 18 feet across. We have some Nkoli cattle right here, they are actually one of the few domesticated animals out here in Africa. Those horns can grow up to 3 to 4 feet long, and inside is a hollow honeycomb structure, and it's pretty light actually. We also have some wildebeest. Their African name is called the gnu because of the sound they make, which sounds like new. And they can migrate a total of 800 to 1,000 miles a year. And we actually have a tower of giraffes on our left-hand side. From this angle, you can get a good group picture of all of them together. Giraffes are the tallest land animals in the world, reaching heights of about 18 to 20 feet tall. And baby giraffes are born at 6 feet tall, and giraffes can run at a top speed of 35 miles per hour. And way on top of the hill, off in the distance, we actually have some zebras there. And zebras actually communicate through a barking sound. They don't neigh or whinny like horses, and they can reach a maximum height of 5 feet tall. And it looks like we have another giraffe on our left-hand side, but more up close to us, actually. I'll move a bit slow so you folks can get a good picture.
Look at that guy.
Yeah.
Owen?
I've never seen one that.
Now, interesting fact, by the way, folks, giraffes actually do make a sound. It's actually a low bleating sound, very similar to a sheep, actually. Turn around here, if you look to your right, we actually do have an African elephant right here. And I can tell that this is an African elephant because, one, we're in Africa. Two,
It's an elephant.
Their ears are shaped like the continent of Africa. And thirdly, when it comes to African and Asian elephants, African elephants actually have a larger ear size than the ones found in Asia, actually. So the big difference to tell them apart is by ear size, actually.
Say bye, elephant.
And this elephant that you see before you, this one happens to be a male because whenever you see elephants by themselves in the wild or in small numbers, those are actually the males because sometimes the males will actually separate from the herd to be by themselves, or since elephants are very social animals, they actually will rejoin the herds, or sometimes male elephants only want to be around other male elephants and create their own herd called a bachelor. That's one of our fellow research team members right there that we just passed. And while we're on the subject of elephants, sometimes elephants are known to travel underneath this bridge actually that we're on top of. Very rare to see that in action though. Now these red clay cliffs that you see on your right and in front of us, elephants come here to eat the red clay to get to important minerals in their diet. And we might get to see some more elephants because we are now inside elephant country actually. Continue our search to find more animals. We do have some more baobab trees on our left and right hand sides, and baobab trees have a nickname known as the tree of life because they store several gallons of water inside, and lots of other animals will come to these trees to get a drink of water. From this angle on our right-hand side, we can actually see some more Ankoli cattle, and we can actually see the zebras a little more closely and better right now, in case you folks didn't get to see some zebras. In fact, I'll hold right here since you didn't get a chance to see them very well. Now, zebras are actually non-territorial animals. They don't mind sharing land with other animals, and they use that to their advantage to blend themselves in, making it difficult for predators to find them.
A little bit of water.
To our left-hand side, we have a flock of flamingos, and these flamingos are known as the greater flamingos, the lightest color of pink out of all the flamingo species in the world. And their main diet is briny shrimp, and that's high in carotene, and that gives them their pink colors.
There's an elephant back behind that.
And we have some more zebras on our right-hand side. Within 20 minutes after birth, baby zebras can actually start standing and moving, by the way. And they'll also be capable of using, of kicking as well, because they actually defend themselves by kicking, actually. We are now traveling into the west end of the savannah, and this is my favorite location because this is actually where all the big cats are located, like cheetahs and lions. Hopefully we'll get a chance to see them along the way. In case we do, you might want to get your cameras ready.
No lions or tigers or bears. Come on.
As we are now turning around, if you look through the opening on our right-hand side, we actually have some white rhinos hiding in the bushes right here, and it looks like they're about to climb down this hill right here, but it looks like they're being kind enough to let us pass through. Now, these are white rhinos because they are larger in size and they have a broad, square-shaped mouth. In fact, you can actually see one of them going down the hill right now.
Wow.
White rhinos can reach a maximum height of 5 to 6 feet tall, and they weigh about 5,000 pounds, actually.
You don't want that one coming at you.
To our left-hand side, across the gorge from us, we actually have some cheetahs laying down on this side, actually. And cheetahs are the fastest land animals in the world, reaching a top speed of 60 to 70 miles per hour. And they have their own characteristics that make them different from most other big cats. One, they prefer to hunt during the daylight. They actually cannot roar. They communicate through high-pitched chirps. And cheetahs are the only big cats in the entire world that can actually purr like regular cats. Right in front of us are the Kofi Rocks, and what's special about these big rocks is that this is actually a vantage point where lions come to actually look for prey. Hopefully we can find some along the way, because in this case, lions are typically inactive most of the day. They spend about 18 to 20 hours of the day resting, and they're primarily active at night because that's when they like to hunt. Plus their night vision is sharper than most other animals, and yet they can still see well in the daylight. We have a little bit of a hold right now. We'll continue in just a moment. In the meantime, straight in front of us, we actually have a Bontabak here. Bontabaks are a specific type of African antelope because they are related to the white-bearded wildebeest. And you can actually identify the males from the females easily by the size of their horns and bodies. Females have thinner horns and skinnier bodies. Right now we're just waiting up ahead. They must have spotted some lions over there. And as chance would have it, there's actually a male lion resting in the corner on your left-hand side. Now, you can actually tell how old a male lion is by the color of their manes. The darker it is, the more mature they are in age. Also, male lions have two special beneficial uses for their manes. The first benefit is it acts as a defense from attacks. And secondly, male lions will use their manes to attract mates as well. To our left-hand side, we have some warthogs here. They are one of the largest burrowing animals in the world, and they are in fact related to domesticated pigs. That's right, that's the same type of animal Pumbaa is from the Lion King. And when it comes to their own burrows, they can be quite territorial. They don't want any other animals coming in their burrows. And if you look to your right-hand side by this tree stump in the shade, those are ostriches over there. Ostriches are the largest and heaviest species of birds in the world, and they lay the largest eggs in the world. In fact, there's a nest of ostrich eggs down here in the corner where I'm pointing. And when it comes to nesting responsibilities, both the male and female ostrich will take turns guarding the nest and incubating the eggs. And ostrich eggs are pretty unique themselves. They're very strong and sturdy, funny enough, and they're very strong that a full-grown man can stand on an ostrich egg and it won't break under his weight. Secondly is that ostrich eggs weigh about 3 pounds each, and they're also considered a food source in parts of the world. And if you were to cook one ostrich egg is the equivalent of 2 dozen chicken eggs. Yep. That's a big breakfast to serve about 12 people, I would say. Yep. We are now passing into the Bugatti Glen, a more shady area of the savannah. Animals come here for shade and water. And in case you're curious of what's going on our left-hand side here, sometimes some land maintenance is required, but this is actually only for special projects, actually, and this is one of them. This is a new warden's outpost that's being built here for our warden and groundskeepers to use it as another base in case there's any assistance needed, or to look after the animals as well. Now, by passing through this gate here, we are now leaving the Harambe Wildlife Reserve, and we're going to make our way back to the village of Harambe. And I gotta say, folks, today's safari was pretty good. I mean, with the exception of the mandrills and black rhinos today and the Patterson Zealand, you guys actually got to see about 85% of the animals out here today. And especially got some amazing close-ups with the big cats as well, so we did pretty good on close-ups today. And if you love what you saw here today and are inspired to see more, I highly recommend you go check out the Gorilla Falls Exploration Trail. Down this trail you can find gorillas, meerkats, naked mole rats, birds, and other animals that are not on the reserve. But if you're hoping to see some familiar faces, you actually can, because down on the Gorilla Falls Trail we have close-ups of the okapis and the Nile hippopotamus. The trail today closes at 4:30 p.m., so I would not want to miss it. And it looks like one of the docks is opening up for us, so we're going to enter in now. Now, goodbye.
Connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and themagictravelguy.com.